23. On the basis of all the above, we can understand the general difference between the supernal unification, ייחוד ייחוד, of Shema Yisrael and the lower unification, ייחוד תתאה, of Barukh Shem. In Yah-A, the focus is the unification and bittul of the 6 extremities, vov ketzavot, i.e., the and pin, above, and also the drawing, hamshahah, of an added new light, as explained. This is the level of he and his lights are one, Aluf of Eḥad. In Yah-T, Barukh Shem, the primary intent is the drawing and descent of the light into vessels, specifically, i.e., he and his vessels are one, Aluf of ve-garmehi. And in Yah-T there are 2 grades. In the chain of worlds, its soniut externality, the letters of Malkhut, called Kelim, vessels. This is the meaning of ***. He brings out their host by number, to all of them he calls by name, Isaiah 40 verse 26, letters and names as vessels. In the innerness, penemayat, of the vessels, the mitzvot, called the commandments of the king, the 248 precepts, ramapekudin, corresponding to 248 limbs, vessels. Malkhut, that is, Knesset Yisrael, the collective Israel soul, is the general vessel, and in particulars, for them. Hence the Zohar says of Malkhut, i.e., Knesset Yisrael, that she is the vessel used by her husband, mana de-mishtamash bar alah, as in, a woman forms a covenant only with the one who made her a vessel. Israel, Knesset Yisrael, is the kli bit kibble, the receptacle to receive all the commandments of Havaya, for within each mitzvah there is a supernal ייחוד of the Holy One and his Shekinah. This is the inner meaning of the name of the glory of his kingdom, an inner kingship directed to Knesset Yisrael, accepting the yoke of the king's commandments, our Father, our King. And though we are called servants, this rank is vastly higher than his kingship over the worlds, for Israel arose in divine thought. This is the ultimate end of the deed is wedged in the first thought, and as our sages said, with whom did he take counsel? With the souls of the righteous, i.e., the souls of Israel, called righteous. This is the core of the Holy One desired a dwelling in the lower realms, not in the higher, angelic worlds, whose root is only in the supernal speech, by the word of Havaya the heavens were made. Since this was the intention already in the first Simpson, that there be a will to emanate sephro of lights and vessels, Orit, Kelim, therefore Yah-T surpasses Yah-A in a crucial way, Yah concerns the sephro within the emanator, and truly there is no comparison between the emanated and the inner essence of the emanator. The heavens and the heaven of heavens cannot contain you, what house will you build for me? Nothing can hold him. But in the vessels of the 248 positive mitzvot that descended and clothed themselves down here, there the light of his essence and being, Mahat Vitzmat, the Mo, dwells. Because the end of the deed, the mitzvah in actual practice through Knesset Yisrael, is what arose first in thought, and he desired a dwelling specifically in them, as above. Therefore the mitzvah, below, with Israel accepting the yoke, is called the vessel used by the husband, the kli in the most concrete sense. Without this mitzvah vessel in actuality there would be no revelation of Ein Sof even within the sephro of Atzilut and of Biyah, nothing draws him but the vessel of Torah and mitzvot. Whereas in the upper lights, in and of themselves, everything is as naught before him, even the pure supernal light, and by what is he grasped? By vessels, of many sorts, the mitzvot, because he desired a dwelling below. From this it follows that Barukh Shem is more inward lofty than merely elongating the dalet of E to crown him in the heavens and earth and the 4 directions, for that concerns Malkhut only in the externality of the worlds, whereas Barukh Shem addresses the innerness. Now, Yah-T of Barukh Shem is, in general, vessels, as above, mana. Then the text details the vessels in particular, and these words, and you shall speak in them, mitzvot in speech, and then in action, and you shall bind. The order of the paragraph is thus. First, Shema Yisrael, bittul of the upper 6 and added new light through the Aluf of Eḥad, making him the Aluf, chief, of the world. Then, Barukh Shem, the kingship of heaven drawn into the vessels of mitzvot, specifically. Afterward, expanding the vessels via Torah study, Talmud Torah. But it first proceeds all with the mitzvah of love, ve-ḥayohi, because that is what causes the abundant drawing of lights into the vessels through the mitzvah of Torah. Ve-ḥayohi, as earlier, spans 2 modes, or hosa, ratzo, upward yearning, and or yasha, shove, drawing downward. The ratzo of or hosa generates the or yasha of love, the great longing that there be a revelation of godliness from above to below, in many vessels of Torah and Mitzvot, until every person should desire and yearn that the light of Ein Sof be revealed below, openly. This is the sense of ve-ḥayohi as a causative, that the name of heaven becomes beloved through you, a downward or yasha of east, from concealment to revelation, which, we explained, was the original intention. For how could one cleave in love with a physical love, given that he is not grasped at all? The true love to him is to desire his nearness to us, that his light and radiance dwell in our mind and heart, in awe and love, and in the practice of Torah and Mitzvot. Moreover, to draw an added new light in the ייחוד of Shema requires raising feminine waters, ma'in nakvin. Initially there was he desires east by himself. Now, to draw added light in downward flow, the emin must be of the same type, love in the mode of downward drawing, yearning that his revelation descend below. That kind of yearning causes numerous drawdowns of light into many vessels, diverse vessels, in Torah and Mitzvot, and the stronger this downward directed yearning, the greater the revelations into more vessels and more kinds of Mitzvot, especially tzedakah, etc. After speaking of vessels in general, and these words, plural, but unexplained, the text then specifies, and you shall speak in them, the mitzvah of Torah study, by which the light of Ein Sof is drawn into the particular vessels of the Mitzvot. Therefore all the Mitzvot are included within Talmud Torah kunijed Kelim, and study is greater, for it leads to action. Even though they also said not study, but action is the main thing, they concluded study is greater, because it brings to action. Accordingly in this Shema paragraph Torah is placed before and you shall bind, the general of action, for study brings to action. They also said, the world is sustained only by the breath of school children, even if they don't know what they are saying, because that breath is free of sin. To understand this, it is known from he looked into the Torah and created the world, I was with him as a craftsman and nursling, and sages are called builders, and abundant peace to your children builders, they build the world. The point, Chokmah, Kamr, is the intermediary, memutza, between the essence of Ein Sof and the emanated, between Atzilut and Beria, and so on until Ossia, all you made with wisdom. Ein Sof clothes only through Chokmah. Explanation, Chokmah is Kamr because Chokmah is found from nothing, its root is in the nothingness, therefore the first revelation of Ein Sof is in Chokmah, in beginning, Chokmah, he created. In each world, the first revelation is in Chokmah, hence Chokmah is the memutza, its root is in nothing, but it appears as something. Other sephiro are something from something. Accordingly, the source of the world's existence is the something of Chokmah once it has emerged from nothing, this is the external Chokmah that flows into the middot. But the root of Chokmah in Torah is the inner Chokmah of each world, i.e., the nothing of Chokmah, which does not flow down, it clothes only to refine noga, in each world, caused by the shattering. In that inner Chokmah there was no shattering, they die not in Chokmah. This is the Etz Chaim above Etz Hadit that comes to refine the latter. Thus the Zohar says, Torah issues from supernal Chokmah, in every world, according to that world, namely inner Chokmah. Torah clothes into the four worlds A by Ya, Torah of Atzilut equals inner Chokmah of Atzilut, Torah of Beria equals inner Chokmah of Beria, similarly Yetzirah, down to the revealed Torah in Ossia equals inner Chokmah of Malkhut of Ossia, Torah of Ossia. This pattern climbs to primordial Chokmah of Adam Kadmon and beyond, to the essence of Ein Sof, his essential wisdom, whose understanding is beyond number. I was with him literally, the Torah preceded the worlds, Mishal HaKadmoni, the primal exemplar. Torah descended from his essence by clothing in each world to illumine that world's Chokmah, for Chokmah is where the first revelation of Ein Sof rests in that world. Hence, he looked into the Torah, and created, and emanated by way of Torah of Atzilut, etc. Meaning, Torah is the memutza in each world by which the essential light shines into that world's every detail, to sustain and add new light. Without it, there would be no existence, even in Ossia, Torah of Ossia, inner Chokmah of Malkhut of Ossia, is the memutza through which Ein Sof shines into all particulars of the 10 sephro of Malkhut of Ossia, adding light and life throughout Ossia, down to the material domum, Tzomia ai Medaba. If not for my covenant day and night, the ordinances of heaven and earth I would not have set. I have placed my words in your mouth to plant heavens. The world stands only by the breath of children. Sages are called builders, because every word of Torah of Ossia is the inner source for the existence of things at the level of Chokmah of Malkhut of Ossia. By it the divine power clothes in the memutza of Chokmah, generally and in each detail, all you made with Chokmah, through Chokmah of Torah. Therefore, since Chokmah of Torah is the memutza in every world between Ein Sof and that world's Chokmah, in general and in detail, the mitzvah of Torah study must be constant, when you sit in your house, and when you walk on the way, for even a moment without Torah leaves no memutza to draw the inner light of Ein Sof into Abyy, general and particular. And you shall speak in them. Torah study is parallel to all mitzvot. The multitude of vessels, the 248 positives, can be only through Torah first, because drawing Ein Sof into Chokmah of Torah provides the memutza, the core and root even in innerness. Also for all the refinements of good and evil done via the mitzvot, in all their specific unifications. Torah is the memutza between the inner essence of Ein Sof and the deed of mitzvot, binding the inner one to the act. Without Torah, there is no binder to connect his essence to the deed. This is why a mitzvah is a lamp and Torah is light. After the light of Torah, the many lamps, vessels, of the mitzvot can receive the light of Ein Sof in each detail. A lamp without light does not shine. Hence Torah is by speech, and you shall speak in them, for speech has the power to bring from hidden to revealed, from the inner light of Ein Sof, in inner Chokmah of Torah, into manifest source for the worlds. Thus the world endures only by the breath of a child saying even one verse, without intention, so long as it is breath without sin. The memutza is specifically the voice and speech of Torah, bringing from concealment into revelation. Therefore, for the sin of Torah neglect alone the temple was destroyed. On what was the land lost? For they abandoned my Torah. In the Shema paragraph 3 things are mentioned: thought, speech, and action. The mitzvot are given in action. Speech is the memutza between essence and recipient. First hearing, Shema, in bina, thought, and ve-ḥayohi, in the heart. Then speech, Torah, to serve as memutza, connecting Ein Sof to the mitzvot. Finally the action itself, making many vessels for the one simple godhood that was first in thought and heart. Even if the mitzvot are done with mezirut nefesh in Ead and with love in the heart, the completion above is specifically in the concrete deed, for that is what he desired, and the end of the deed rose first in thought. Therefore the two mitzvot singled out here, tefillin, and you shall bind, and mezuzah, and you shall write, are prototypes for all practical mitzvot. Shema and ve-ḥayohi are written in ink on parchment and placed physically. Binding is an act. And they said, whoever recites Shema without tefillin is as one who bears false witness about himself, for even if he achieved Yireh in mind and heart, it is false testimony if no tefillin are on his head. Testimony is by deed. All the peoples will see that the name of Havaya is called upon you, that is the head tefillin. As testimony reveals what is hidden from the eye, so head tefillin reveal the hidden name in the mind heart, even if one's inner intent is excellent. The mitzvah of unifying God in Shema is great, like tefillin, but one must recite Shema with tefillin on his head. One who throws off the positive yoke of inner intention in Shema is akin to the one whose skull never dons tefillin. One is a body offense, the other a soul offense. As the beginning is wedged in the end, so the end is wedged in the beginning. In sum, what was one only in mind, heart and speech is brought into deed, to bind on hand and head, and then mezuzah, writing alone, affixed on the doorposts. These two are the sum of all practical mitzvot, the many vessels. But they stand only by the memutza, speech of Torah, and you shall speak in them, which precedes and you shall bind. And speech of Torah works as memutza only with the prior intention in mind, bina, and heart, Shema and ve-ḥayohi. Hence the order of the Shema paragraph is these three: thought, speech, action, three kinds of vessels for the simple oneness: inner, middle, outer. For my glory I created it, I formed it, I made it. Thought corresponds to Beria, speech to Yetzirah, action to Ossia. and the outer vessel, action, rises above all, the beginning wedged in the end, and the end of the deed rose first in thought, the end of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments in actual deed, for this is the whole man.